Are you young? Do you live in Kenya? Did you just get your fast cash? Then this is the video for you.
You should take it slow.
So in this video, as you can see from the title, I'll be talking about cars if you can buy for relatively cheap. Basically times have changed, and basically young guys these days can get cars, e.g. me, and you can save up and get a car, and most probably you are in the maybe in the range of looking for a new car, maybe a cheap one for yourself. Maybe you're an enthusiast, maybe you just want a daily driver. Yeah, so in this list I'll be talking about cars you can get for relatively cheap. I'm talking about around 200,000 to around 100,000 Kenyan shillings, just in that mid-range. And I know that can be a little bit robust, but the list I made was kind of compact. And I don't know, Kenyans have that thing, they sell their cars with some sentimental value, you know. They get too attached to cars and they cannot sell them for cheap, even though the cars are worth nothing. So yeah, so in this list I'll basically tell you the cars that are in that price range, and I hope you enjoy. Yeah, so join me. So basically the first car on my list, it's a Volkswagen, the Volkswagen Beetle. Basically it's a compact car, rear engine, boxer engine, made by Volkswagen. From 1938 to the early 2000s. Its idea and concept was made by Hitler, and it's the only great thing that came from that guy. So not much to be said. Basically in the Kenyan market they are really cheap. If you get a little one that is kind of beat up, you can get it for around 50,000, 40,000. Or you can really go upward to around 100,000 for ones that are really in great shape, or high, it depends on the owner. So yeah, that is my first car, and basically I have a friend who owns two already. Hashtag Nico. And yeah, so yeah, they are basically cheap, and you know, they can really be nice cars once you pay some attention to them, give them some wheels, some tires, some bodywork, and they really look good in good paint. So yeah, that's the first car on my list. The second car on my list is none other than the Toyota Corolla. And when I say Toyota Corolla, I'm not saying like recent ones, the newer models. I hear they have flappy paddles and all-wheel drive. I'm not even sure. I'm talking about the E91, the NZE, E100, E110. Basically from E90 to around 110. That is the ones I'm talking about. They're relatively cheap, and their value has been going down significantly, and you can pick up one for around 150 or 100k, depends with where you're buying it from, maybe from a dealer or somebody. Yeah, and they're really good cars. They're the cars that teach you a lot of patience, and once you like pay some attention to the engine work and the body, they are relatively inexpensive to maintain. Yeah, and they last a really long time. You have to be really hard on these cars to break them. So yeah. So the third car on my list is none other than a Nissan Sunny. You know these cars. Yeah, there's actually one just parked right there in front of me. Yeah, so yeah, they're relatively around everywhere. They were made by Nissan or Datsun, depends on where you live. Nissan or Datsun, they're the same thing. Basically the models I'm talking about are the B11, B12, B13, B14. Basically B11 to B14. You know, they're really like nice cars. They're like a sister to Toyota Corollas. You know, Toyota had Toyota Corollas, and Nissan had Nissan Sunnies. And yeah, so yeah, basically a cheap car. Depends on where you're buying. You can fetch one for around. I know. I recently saw one on Checky Marketplace, and I saw one was going for around 120, and another one for 100, which was, let's say, kind of cheap if you really save up. You know, yeah. So, and they're relatively good. You can, yeah, once you pay some attention to it, any car is good. But there are other cars when you just pay a little attention to them, and they'll run forever. Yeah. So the next car on my list is a car that was actually the only car on my list that was assembled in Kenya. I don't know if most of you know that the Peugeot or Peugeot, or I don't know how you spell it, whatever your preference is, but I call it Peugeot. The Peugeot 504 was assembled in Kenya during its run. Basically, this is a car that has heritage. I know you guys think like I'm telling like to buy old cars, but you know, old cars teach you a lot. They teach you some patience here, a lot of values, you know. They basically were in the Safari Rally during its time in 1975 and 78, and they were made from 1968. They're basically really good cars. These days I see people doing a custom interior on them with some wheels and tires, you know, different motor. I've seen one with a boxer engine from a Subaru, and it was nice, you know. And they basically have that old retro look to it. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but they really look good when you upgrade them. And I basically really want to own one because I'd like to do a conversion of them, just something crazy out of the blues, something that is not common. Yeah, and they go for relatively cheap if you see one that is a little bit beat up. They're good project cars. Let's say they're just good project cars because, well, we all need a project car in our lives. So yeah, you can basically pick up one for around the price mark of 300 to all the way down to 100, depending on the condition it's in, you know. I've seen some people like really take care of them. Like I was in the pizza meet around, I don't know if it was January or February. There was this guy who had like really taken care of his, and yeah. So yeah, that is why you need to buy one. So drum roll please. So the next car on my list, the only all-wheel drive car you can buy for under, let's say 300k if you're lucky. So it's the Subaru Leon. There is no car that has some really nice heritage on this list like this one. it has that Safari Rally heritage. You know, it won some championships here and there. You know, basically its successor is the Subaru Impreza, and yeah, which is another really good car. And it was basically made from 1971 to 1994. All the drive goodness, you know, carbureted, all that good stuff. But yeah, I have two friends who actually rally one. I don't know if you can get a clip somewhere here. And very nice cars, and you know, if you want that cheap all-wheel drive system that was really nice back then, this is the car you want to own. Maybe if you're an enthusiast or somebody who wants to like start rallying, you know, maybe fresh from rally school or something, this is a car you can pick up for relatively cheap and, you know, mod and start rallying on the cheap. So yeah, depending on where you buy, they actually have that, you know, brew, because it's a Subaru, they have that brew tax where they get to be, you know, a little bit higher than what they're actually worth. But you can pick up one for around 400 to 300 depending on where you buy. So yeah. You guys should subscribe, eh? So another car on my list. It's yet another Volkswagen. The Volkswagen Mark II. I'm saying the Mark II. You can definitely get a Mark III for relatively cheap, or a Mark 1, but a Mark II. I'm saying a Mark II because it's around that price range where you guys have clicked on this video want to see. And yeah, around 200 and 100, or even less, or in the middle, it depends. So with the Volkswagen Mark II, it's basically a 4-door or a 2-door, depending on where you get it from. It was made by Volkswagen from the late 80s to the early 90s, you know, before the replacement Mark III came through. Yeah, and recently they've been really like going down on the market price. You know, people are more willing to let them go these days. And yeah, after you do a swap, maybe refresh the interior, do some, you know, some motor stuff, some engine stuff, some tires and wheels, they look really good. They look really nice, yeah. And as always, I'll overlay some clips so that you guys can see what I'm saying. Sione na wadanganya. So yeah, and yeah, if you're a young guy and you're looking, basically it has that hot hatch look, and yeah, pick one up. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. The next car on my list would be a Datsun. It depends on where you live. We call them Datsun, as in Datsun. Some others call them Nissan. They're all the same. They're basically the same company where like Nissan tried to like change their name from Datsun to Nissan. And yeah, it's the Nissan pickup truck, the mini pickup truck. Basically this is another car I really want to own by myself. And recently they've like been on that price range where you can actually get them if you're a young guy who's into like cars. Basically if you're going for the pickup truck, I'm going the mini pickup truck. It's the B120 to the B140. Do not stray farther away, because you know it'll complicate things. And yeah, and they're really nice trucks. They rarely die on you, because well, modern cars, they die on you on the highway and stuff. If you take care of this car, it will be definitely, you know, take care of you. I have an uncle who owns one, and that car can carry a lot of stuff, can haul, you know, basically do what a normal pickup truck does, but you know, in a mini size, looking good. And you can always like go the other way and get some nice paint job painted on them, or some rims and some good tires like the one I will be highlighting up here. And yeah, and you can just have that nice retro look on it. Yeah, and they're basically nice trucks, and you should definitely, if you're into the pickup game, this is where you could like really start for relatively cheap. And yeah, so yeah, cue the next car on my list. It's relatively out there. I know you know them, you've seen them around. It's the Toyota Levin. Basically this is a Toyota Corolla with 2 doors. Basically they made an E90 version, an E91, a E100, a 110. What they actually did was just take the normal Toyota Corolla and slice them up, give them a little bit extra engine power, you know, all that spicy stuff that, you know, you car guys love, in 2 doors. I really want one. Actually, I do not need I really want the one that looks like Pepsi, the E90 version. And you know, I can have like that 2-door and 4-door goodness in my life. Yeah, and they are basically cheap. This is actually one car I've really come close to like making the purchase on, as it, you know, because that's how much I love them. And yeah, they're relatively cheap. You know, you can fetch one for around 150, 200. If somebody really sells this car for above 300 to you, it really needs to be in like that nice condition. And yeah, you know, yeah, so they're basically Toyota Corollas, and Toyota Corollas are indestructible. Input clip. Yeah, and if you're a young guy on the cheap, you should definitely look at getting this one. So yeah.
Mason just fucked your bitch.
So the next car on my list is that Toyota hatchback goodness, Toyota Starlet. Basically with these cars, I'm talking the models which are like the 70, 80 and 90 series. They're relatively cheap, relatively easy to maintain, you know. When you slap some good wheels, tires, and get some good fitment on them, they really look good. Basically Kenyans really go crazy on these cars. You know, you can see them with subs, you know, good interiors. I don't know, yeah, they look really good. You can see them on the track. I've seen one on the track that looks really nice. I'll try and look for it. Yeah, and they're relatively cheap, maybe 300, 350 if you get a good deal. Yeah, they have that bro tax where they're kind of a little bit expensive, more expensive than what they're worth actually. But you know, heritage and maintenance you know. Yeah, and they're relatively good. Definitely I'd want to own one for, you know, that hot hatch goodness. And yeah. So the last car on this good list of mine is none other than the Mitsubishi. Okay, it's a Mitsubishi, the Mitsubishi Galant. Basically 6th to the 7th, 8th, okay, 6th to the 8th generation. Yeah, those are the cars I'm talking about, and they're relatively good. You know, they have really bad engine problems, but it needs somebody with a good heart. But when you take care of them, they actually last really long. And actually the price on them has really gone down on the during the past years, and you can pick up one for relatively cheap and, you know, start your journey with your project car. And, you know, every car has its problems, and this is a car that has its problems. It needs a tender heart to take care of it. But I've seen some examples which are really nice, and you know, it always sparks that ambition in somebody to always, like, you know, want one. So yeah, that is the last car on my list. And yeah, if you liked the video, please consider subscribing. Stay safe around these corona times. Always wear a mask. Yeah, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. All that good stuff we YouTubers like. The numbers do really matter. And yeah, stay tuned for the next one. But before I close out the video, I want you guys to do me a favor. This time I'm going to make a lot of videos where I talk about a lot of stuff. Please ring that bell notification to keep updated, because videos will be coming out relatively quick. And yeah, I've had some people say like they cannot keep up with how much I upload these days, but please try and keep up. You know, this is the only time until I go back to school, you know, where I get some free time to make videos for you guys. So if you like, do all that fancy stuff. See you in the next video. Trust me, the next video I'm shooting today, and it's going to be really nice, so stay tuned for that.